The inspiration for this project came from the Obrys pistols of the 1917 Russian Revolution, where soldiers were in need of lighter arms but didn't have a sufficient supply of such weapons. They did have many Mosin Nagant rifles, which they proceeded to Obrys. I was first introduced to the Obrys concept from Battlefield 1, and I instantly thought of Nerf, where because of marketing, you add a bunch of cosmetics that don't need to be there, over-engineered crap, and you can just remove a lot of it. It'll perform the same way. Two years ago, I started this project by removing the barrel from the front of the blaster, which is done really easily by removing screws on the blaster, and that's about it. You do have to cut off the stock before you do that, which was also part of my plan, so that worked out fine. And so my first plan was to modify the blaster to be as small as possible. The Alpha Rogue is uniquely powerful for the type of blaster it is, being not direct plunger, but rather through a tube system. If you can make it smaller, it becomes serviceable. So in August, I was trying to determine if I could remove the entire handle to make this into just a really tiny thing. I discovered that the trigger release mechanism is inside of the handle, so it could not be effectively removed. So I couldn't remove the handle, but I still could get rid of the large, unnecessary front facade. So the spring at the front of the blaster is actually the trigger return, and there is no mechanical reason that it has to be that far ahead of the trigger. So I was tinkering around a bit, and I figured that you could shift the post the spring was attached to down to the post that the orange plastic bit was located on, and this would allow you to cut the entire front end off the blaster. To do this, I would have to cut and bend the metal rod that connects the spring and the trigger. I cut the metal rod to the proper length, and then we bent it with pliers. We thought we needed heat, but we actually did not. So this is a very easy modification. There are some modifications that you will need to do to the interior of your shell if you do want to do these mods. The first one is going to be where the orange thing rests. There's a little post, you just want to knock that out. Once you do that, the trigger and the spring will attach just like you see, and the orange cube does not hit the black valve at all. And then you can cut off the front end and the top of the rail, and it's now very compact. There are still holes on the back as well as holes on the front, which you can easily cover with some acrylic sheeting. Make sure to only glue it to one side of the half shell, that way you can still disassemble it. Here's some footage of the Obrys pistol in Battlefield 1 so you can see how they reload it, and you can reload it very similar in real life, which I thought was pretty fun. I think I liked this project so much because it was a good combination of engineering and history, and I really enjoyed that. If you did enjoy this video, consider liking, subscribing, commenting, sharing. Anything you would like to do to help the channel, it's highly appreciated, and thank you so much for watching. CWG does not pertain to anything other than my channel name in this context. CWG does not relate to any other acronym and should not be inferred as relating to any other acronym.